Hey Wunda fam, let's go ahead and get started for our head to toe workout with dumbbells. If you don't have dumbbells, you can always use soup cans or even wine bottles or empty hands. We're gonna start today with a plank. And I'm gonna ask you to use dumbbells if you have them. We're gonna kind of use them as handles that we're gonna rest on the ground with. So I'm holding the dumbbells and then I'm gonna step back into my plank. My hands are shoulder width distance. And from here, we're just gonna hold and breathe. It gives a nice opening to the wrists. We're gonna hold and breathe to get started, reaching head long from the tailbone, long from the heels, making sure we have the navel actively drawn up and in and the heart in between the shoulder blades. We're holding and breathing, reaching with length, looking straight down at the mat. And then I'm going to have us glide the left toenails down and reach up and back with that left leg. Float the left leg back down. Keep that left leg as the focus as we inhale, again, reach the left leg long. Exhale as we lower back down. 2 more like that. Inhale as we lengthen and reach. The upper body and the pelvis aren't moving. Last time with the left leg, we're creasing at the glam line, right under our seat, and now we're gonna flip the left toes under. Take the toenails of the right foot down to the mat, and then we're gonna inhale as we lengthen, exhale as we lower. We've got 4 times total on this side as well. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to lower. 2 more. Think about that inner thigh spiraling up to the sky, and keeping the leg close to the center line of your pants is gonna get the waistline inner thigh connection focus. Bring the toes underneath, holding and breathing for 8. Lengthening, drawing the ribs close to the spine for 3, 2, and go ahead and set the knees down onto the mat. If you have the dumbbells, we're going to take our right foot forward, or you can do this with empty hands, and have your left foot down and back. We're gonna do a little sequence, a little choreography here. So as we bow forward, creasing at the hip, the right knee creases forward, and we float the arms up. And then we're gonna bring it back upright with the torso and go into a tricep reach. It's an exhale as we hinge forward, creasing at the ankle and the hip. And then we're gonna inhale as we rise. I'm gonna walk my right foot forward a little bit more. Exhale as we crease, opening the front side of the left hip. Inhale, bring it back. So now that we know the range of movement, we're gonna pick up the pace a little bit, keeping the pelvis quiet and keeping lots of length and space between the right hip and the right ribs. Inhale as we draw it back. Exhale as we hinge forward with length. Find equal weight across the sole of that right foot. We don't want to just load into the toes as we reach forward. We want to keep equal weight across the sole of that foot. Exhale to crease. Inhale to bring it back up. Let's go for 2 more. This is going to be our last one. Hold the arms long. We're gonna flip the left toes under and go into a low lunge. So we have our arms long at our sides, and we're gonna inhale, hover the knee off the mat, and then take it back down. Think about the upper inner thighs lifting you, and then lowering back down. If you want extra challenge, arms can come up alongside the ears, keeping the waistline level. 2 more like this. Inhale to pick it up. Exhaling down. This is our last one. And bring both knees down to the mat. All right, we're gonna set the left dumbbell down, and we're gonna bring our left forearm underneath us, going into a side plank with an overhead reach. So I'm gonna stack my feet, or you can bring your left foot in front of your right and come up into your best side plank. Right elbow comes alongside the ribs, palm faces down, and we're gonna inhale as we reach. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, lengthen and reach. Exhale, bring the elbow back to the ribs. So you can continue with that dumbbell. You can always do it with an empty arm if that feels aggressive in your body. Find your breath, inhaling to reach, reaching the inner thighs long beyond the soles of the feet, lifting off of the elbow and the shoulder rather than hanging down into them. Let's go for 3 more here. Find the bottom ribs lifting, lots of length along the waistline, front and back side of the body. This is our last one. And bring the hips down to the floor. All right, we're gonna roll onto our backs and go into some scissors today. So roll all the way down onto your back on the mat, and we're gonna float the legs up into a tabletop position to start with. Find a heavy tailbone into your mat, and then we're gonna lengthen both legs, unfold towards the sky. From here, we're gonna take our hands, 2 hands behind the left thigh as we reach the right leg down. So I'm actually giving myself some traction on the left thigh, and then we're gonna switch, traction on the right, traction on the left, finding that deep stretch and that abdominal focus as we pass the legs in midair. So if this feels aggressive to your body, you can always hold the head down on the mat and do the same range of movement. Or you can keep a long front body and work in an abdominal curl. Either way works. Find your challenge today, find your stretch, and your focus. Keeping the legs narrow is gonna help you find inner thigh focus as well. Last 4, 3, this is 2, our last one is here, and bring both feet down to the mat. While we're down here, we're gonna go into a bridge with single leg lifts. Arms are active into the floor, and we're gonna keep our feet closed parallel for our setup, no light between the knees and toes. Pick your body up into your best hinge position, making sure you're not letting your hips hang down and your ribs are close to your heart. From here, guys, we're gonna float that left leg up to the sky. Keep your left leg nice and long, and then we're gonna lower the pelvis down just an inch or so, and then we're gonna lift. Lower the pelvis down and lift. So it's not a great big range of movement. We're keeping a flat back here, keeping a level pelvis. Arms are active in the mat. We're gonna go for 3 more here, really activating through the right glute, lengthening through the back side of the left leg. Last one, hold. Left leg returns to the floor. We're gonna recenter out the weight, melting across the sole of the left foot. Right leg floats up, lengthens towards the sky, and little crease here, and lift. Find your long lines in the body, lifting from the left glutes to help power the pelvis up, sharing that work with the hamstrings. Use your middle back and your arms to also share the work with the hamstrings. Last 2. Bring the foot all the way down, magnetize the outer thighs, and then we're gonna melt from behind the heart, rolling all the way down. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take that side plank on the other side. You can grab your dumbbell or do the work without it. Right hand is down on the mat, and we can stack the feet or have the right foot in front of the left. Then we're gonna take the hips up and off the mat, elbow is close to the ribs, and it's an overhead reach today. Inhale. As we reach, exhale, bring it down. We want to think about those inner thighs spiraling in opposition. So while we're working, keep working on your end. While we're holding the legs, one crossed in front of the other, think about that right inner thigh spiraling forward while the left inner thigh spirals back, and they're rotating in opposition. That's going to help you find even more waistline effort. I haven't lost count. You have 1 more of those overhead reaches. Here we go. Last one. Inhale as we reach. Exhale, bring the elbow down and bring the hips all the way to the floor. All right, we're gonna go into that low lunge with the dumbbells. So we're gonna have our left foot flat on the floor this time with the knee in front of us, right foot behind us. And from here, you can keep the dumbbells in kind of a tricep focus just behind the body, or you can have them up overhead. Flip those right toes under. Here we go. Little tiny lifts from the upper inner thighs, and then we lower back down. Not too many here, guys. We're just gonna get the inner thigh waistline connection active, melting through the sole of that left foot, getting active through the glutes and the hamstrings as well. Just in case you didn't feel that on that bridge sequence, we're finding them here too. Last 2. Little lift, last one. and bring the arms down. Let's flip that right foot under. I'm gonna walk my left toes forward just a little bit. We're gonna exhale, bow and crease forward. Inhale, as we come upright, arms slide just behind the shoulders. Exhale, reaching as we crease. Inhale, as we bring it back. Keep working on your end. You can always work with empty hands doing the same range of movement. It would look like this. Exhale forward and inhale, rise up. If you think about the arms moving through molasses or peanut butter or something like that, then you can go ahead and find that resistance and that effort even without dumbbells in our hands. So do what works best for your body today, focusing on your movement deep through the core, sinking that thigh bone really deep into the hip as we glide forward, and then think about the ribs stacking up on top of the pelvis to raise. Sink that thigh bone deep into the pelvis, reaching the hip away from the ribs, and inhale to raise. 2 more. Exhaling down, inhaling to bring it up. This is gonna be our last one, guys. And go ahead and bring both knees to the floor. All right, we're gonna keep the dumbbells off to the side. If you had them, set them down for a second, and we're gonna go into a squat sequence with a little cross tap today. So we're gonna have our feet about 4 inches apart parallel, keeping your hands on your hips to start with. We're gonna go down into a squat just like we normally do. That's an exhale. Inhale, rise up. This time we're gonna do a little side step as we rotate the right hand towards the left foot and then bring it back to that starting position. Exhale for a squat through center. Inhale, come up. This time left hand, right toes as the left leg goes out. Bring the feet back and lower down. So we can pick up the pace. Inhale to rise. Exhale, rotate and step out. Inhale to rise. Exhale, centered squat. Inhale to rise. Exhale, bring it to the other side. Inhale to rise. So every time the knees bend and the hips crease, that's going to be an exhale. And every time we rise up, that's going to be an inhale. Keep your body organized. Think about what's happening as we work. Either your right side of the sitting bone, both sitting bones, or left sitting bone are fanning out as we lower into that squat or that single leg reach. You can also choose to do with this with dumbbells, but as it's kind of a newer move for us to work on together, I thought without would be a good choice. So you choose what works best for you. Exhale as we rotate, inhale as we rise, sinking deeply into your squat and across. Bring it up. Let's hold this next one down. Hold and breathe. From here, guys, what I'm going to ask us to do is diagonal slings, opposing diagonals today. So I'm going to ask you to float the right arm up and out as the left heel picks up. And then we're going to send those guys down. And then we're going to bring the left arm up and out as the right heel picks up. And we're going to set that back down. You should feel the waistline really catching and firing up here, all the way across to the opposite inner thigh. Those are our diagonal sling zigzags that work through the body. Keeping the pelvis nice and quiet, so you don't want to have the hips rock. Inhale as we lengthen. Exhale as we send the bones through the mat. The muscle pants are drawing up in opposition. Navel is up and in the whole time. Last 2. Hold the left hand and right heel up. Find your shaky place. My leg is shaking like crazy. Find your shaky place by kind of messing around with where your right heel is. Find that shaky place and then invite the left heel up and the right arm up as well. So there should be a lot of trembling going on. And if you don't feel that, sink a little bit more deeply into the squat and lower and raise your heels, maybe a centimeter or 2, to find your shaky, challenging place. Holding and breathing. If it's aggressive, hands can always come onto your hips. Last 2. And with intention, heels go down. Inhale, gather and rise up. All right, we are going to go onto our back again. So come all the way down to the mat. And we're gonna go into a little single leg teaser roll up. So it's gonna look like this. We're gonna lay all the way down. Arms are gonna reach overhead. So we're gonna inhale just like normal to pick our crown of head up and connect our deep neck flexors all the way down the abdominals. And then we're gonna exhale as we roll all the way up to sitting. So just to remind you of that range of movement, inhale, lean back, exhale as we roll all the way down. If that's a good challenge for you, stay there. If you're looking for more, here we go. Inhale, pick the crown of head up. Exhale, as we roll up this time, we're asking the left leg to join us. This is a modification you can always take, taking the hands behind the left thigh. Otherwise, you can keep your arms long. Here we go. And then we're gonna unwind, rolling all the way back down. Let's do the right leg this time. Inhale as we pick it up, right leg softens, lift. It is no small task, you guys, as we rise and float into that single leg teaser. So you do what works for you. You can always keep one leg up. You can always put your hands behind the thigh. You can keep both legs down. It's entirely up to you. Inhale for that lift. Exhale as you roll, and the leg sinks into that teaser position. Lengthening down with breath. I like the inhale to lift and the exhale to curl. At the top, we're inhaling for a quick pause so that we can exhale and unroll on the way down. As well, find the neck muscles connected to your deep abdominals. Ooh, these are getting really spicy, aren't they? Lowering all the way down. Inhale. Let's do one more on the left as we rise. And slowly control your movement down. Last time on the right. And we're gonna float up, right leg rises into teaser as well. Lower all the way down. And from here, guys, we're gonna take our hands interlaced underneath the base of the skull. We're gonna go into a shallow curl. So I love these for focus right through the upper portion of our abdominal wall. My intention here is not about getting high. I'm peeling my shoulder blades only off the mat, but I'm thinking more about my crown of head reaching beyond the wall behind me. So I'm really thinking of this hammocked sensation, creating length, conditioning support around the spine, as we're also creating sculpted lines through the abdominals, long, lean lines. So keep working at your own pace, lengthening the toes away from crown of head, almost like you're a hammock. Think about this, hands tractioning the neck, giving you lots of length and support for the weight of the head as we rise up. Lengthening as we inhale, peel just the shoulder blades off the mat. Let's go for 3 more like this. We're gonna go into some leg arcs in 2. And this is gonna be our last one. And lower all the way down. Remove your hands from underneath your head. And we're gonna come onto our forearms. So from here, guys, I'm gonna use my dumbbells kind of as my center point of what I'm going up and over. You can choose anything you have handy, all right? So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna find a nice long line in the torso. I'm not gonna hang into the shoulders. We're lifting up and out, and I have a nice neutral spine. From here, I'm gonna float both legs up into a tabletop position, lengthening crown of head from tailbone. If it's accessible to you in your low back, you can lengthen the legs out, otherwise keep them bent. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna tap to the left of the dumbbells, and then we're gonna go up and over like a little rainbow arc and go to the right. So you don't even have to go up and over anything in real time. You can do it in your mind, but it doesn't have to be a great big range of movement. I want you to feel the abdominals floating the legs up and over and then tapping to the other side. Abdominals floating up and over, inviting the legs deep into the pelvis as we work. Inhale as we lift, exhale as we lower. Think about not sinking down into the elbows, thinking about the collarbones staying nice and wide. I'm going to demonstrate now with bent knees. Keep working on your end, and you would simply tap your heels down, keeping the knees bent, bring them up through center, and down to the other side. It's a lot less aggressive to the low back, and it gives you options as you're building strength as well. But either way, keep the knees closed, the outer thighs magnetized. Let's go for 2 more here, guys. Last time to the left, last time to the right, and bring it back through center, tabletop out those legs, and lower the feet down. All right, from here, we're gonna take 1 dumbbell, we're gonna go into a little bird dog situation. So come into close to a 4-point kneeling. I have my left hand flat on the mat, right hand has the dumbbell. Straight away, I'm gonna float that right arm in front of me, palm faces down. And now I'm gonna glide those left toes long and reach the leg out behind me. Opposite hand, opposite arm. And I'm simply gonna glide out to an X, kind of like one line of an X, and then bring it back in. Keep working at your end. You can also do this with an empty hand if that's aggressive to your body, or if you don't have any kind of a weight handy. Think about the left inner thigh spiraling to the sky. I just rotated mine, and it was a total game changer. Inhale as we glide out. Think about moving from the shoulder and the top of the thigh bone, not from the fingers and the toes. Get closer to the core, and you're gonna find a lot more effort through the abdominals. Last 3, reach those left legs long, creasing at that glam line. Plug the right shoulder in. Hold the next one out, hold and breathe, and just find that challenge, find that isometric effort for 3, for 2, and bring your hand and your foot all the way down. We're gonna go into a little plank walk through, okay? So we're gonna bring our elbows down onto the mat, and I'm gonna have my hands close together, making a little bit of a triangle shape, and then we're gonna step our feet out. So we're gonna start with a forearm plank. This is a good challenge for you. Stay here. If you're looking for more, we're gonna take little baby steps to walk our body up into a pike position. It's gonna be different for all of you. And then we're gonna slowly take little baby steps to walk all the way back down. So do that at your own pace. As you're walking in, think about maintaining lots of length on the front of the body. Try not to collapse or crowd into your shoulders or your neck. I don't care how close your feet get to your elbows. The idea is to find that upward diagonal lift as you walk those feet in, finding length through the abdomen, length in the low back, and then slowly stepping back out. Moving one foot at a time also targets in to the waistline and the inner thigh connection. So let's do one more of those plank walkouts. It's gonna look like this. Keeping the legs long, try not to really bend the knees. We're articulating through the ankles as we take these baby steps in, reach up and back, and then take your baby steps back out. And then bring both knees down. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do that bird dog on the other side. Hands are flat on the mat. Left hand has the dumbbell this time, and our right hand is flat on the mat. We're gonna take our right toes long, reach, reach, reach. I like to find the toes dragging all the way long till the knee has no more bend, and then invite the leg up. You're gonna find a lot more effort right at that glam line where our glutes and our hamstrings meet. Left hand goes up and out, palm is facing down. Here we go. Inhale as you open into that X, and exhale, bring it back to center. So keep working on your end. You can continue with the dumbbell or always set it down. And think about your X when you make that X shape with the foot and the hand, that you're only going about as wide as your mat. You don't wanna go way out to the sides because that actually removes focus from the core by going too far away from it. So keep things a little bit more controlled, kind of in the middle range of movement, and you're gonna get more results in less time. So let's go a few more here. Thinking about that shoulder and hip, initiating the movement, not the fingers and toes. Get closer to the core. That inner thigh is spiraling to the sky. And then we're gonna hold this next one out. Hold this next one out, hold and breathe. For 3, lifting off of that right shoulder. For 2, and bring your hand and both knees down to the floor. All right, again, empty hands or dumbbells, whatever works for you. We're gonna go into a hinge, and we're gonna bring our arms in front of us today. Often we keep them at our sides, but today I'm gonna ask for the arms in front of you. So my knees and toes are 4 inches apart parallel, and we're gonna keep our low back really long. This is so important for this move, okay? So think about not shortening your low back. Here we go. We're gonna not use the dumbbells for the first few, just to get a hang of the movement. We're gonna inhale and hinge back, and then we're gonna exhale and bring it forward. Again, watch this low back, guys. Watch that this didn't change. This line doesn't break. As you inhale and lengthen back, it's knees, hips, shoulders, head should be in line, and then exhale, bring it forward. If it's feeling tense on your low back, make a smaller range of movement, or Think about your back like a scrunchie, like the fabric on that scrunchie is stretching open, and that's gonna kick on the abdominals to protect the low back even better. Here we go. We're gonna add the arms. Inhale, arms come forward, tailbone hangs heavy, navel draws up and in, and then exhale as we bring it back upright. Inhale, lengthen. Think about that fabric of your scrunchie stretching through the low back, and then we exhale as we bring it up. Just a few more here. Think about those inner thighs spiraling forward. Plug the arms in to the middle back and exhale as we bring it back up. 2 more, gang. Inhale, lengthening back. Reach with length from the crown of the head. We're gonna hold this last one. I know you want to, so let's do it. We're gonna inhale, reach and lengthen. Collarbones are wide. Plug the arms into the middle back. Head is in line with the spine. Navel draws up and in. Knees are reaching through the floor for 3, for 2, and with control, exhale, bring it all the way in. Set those dumbbells to the side. I love a downhill ski. You guys know I love a downhill ski. That's gonna be our last thing today. Hands go wide on the mat, shoulder width. Step your feet back, closed parallel. Here we go. Exhale, swivel the hips and knees as the left hip reaches to the left corner of the mat. Inhale, center it out. Exhale, right hip reaches to the right corner of the mat. Inhale, center it out. So we're creasing deeply at the hips, keeping the hips far away from the ribs. Even as we swivel, keep lots of length and space between the ribs and the hips. Exhale as we swivel back with intention. Inhale for length to your best plank in the center. This is the last thing. We're stretching next, guys. We made it. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Keeping your hands like starfish, keeping your heart between the shoulder blades. Collarbones wide. Last one to the left. Last one to the right. Hit your best plank. And sink back into a downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath here. We're gonna fold that right knee, open through the right hip, left heel melts down. We're gonna bring that right leg forward and go into a little bit of a hip opening stretch. Don't worry about where your shin is, worry about what feels like a good, nice stretch through the left hip, the front side of the left hip and the back side of the right hip. If it's accessible to you, you can lower your body down or you can stay up on your hands. You do what works for your body today. Take a nice deep breath here. Let's take our right arm over, stretching through the sideline. We can gaze towards the sky, rotate through the ribs. Bring both hands back with intention. Step your right knee back, go back into a downward facing dog. Collarbones are wide, shoulders are strong, press away from the floor. Left knee bends, left hip opens, right heel melts. And take that left leg down to the mat, right leg reaches long behind you in your hip opener. If it's accessible, you can get close to the floor, closer to the floor, not required. And bring it back up, left hand arcs over. Left ribs rotate to the sky. Bring it all the way in. Last thing, child's pose, big toes touch. Knees are as wide or wider than your mat. Sink your body back. Arms reach long. We're gonna come up with an open heart, inhaling with gratitude for the health of our bodies. I certainly am really thrilled to be back on the mat with you, and I'll see you next time.